Hold on,
No
what?
intro?
No intro. We got so much show today. We don't even have time for an intro, Clay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Next Issue podcast. We are live, baby. We're going old school today. That's why Clay's drinking out of a glass bottle. Although I think that's better for the environment. So
yeah, glass is better than plastic.
That's right. Although it doesn't contain all those microplastics that I love.
It's okay. I've got them all in my testicles. It's all right.
Who knew the one superhero we were creating is Plastic Man?
That's right. All right. On today's show, we're gonna get right into it. No time to dilly dally. We got a full house. Kyle's back from hiatus.
I've been working the last 2 Saturdays.
Yeah. And we're not at Fan Expo, so we are here live.
Well, guess who
poor.
Guess who backed that last minute at Fan Expo? Sam Raimi.
Oh, damn!
What a bummer, because I bet a lot of people. I mean, yeah, he was one of the people I would have gone to try to catch up with.
The one that I know that a friend of mine decided screw it. She was going to go and just hang out, but when she found out he was going to be there, Danny Elfman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Danny Elfman's cool.
Well, I guess I'll have to get Danny Elfman to sign my Darkman tattoo. All right.
I'm surprised. I wonder if he has some kind of concert. He should have done some kind of concert or something.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. She was planning on going to California to see his concert, but when she found out he was coming here, it's like, well, never mind.
Come on, we got that nice symphony plays downtown.
Yeah,
I've been there. I went there for its intended purpose for me to watch a podcast live. Not to see the opera.
These were amazing.
I went to the opera house to watch a podcast being recorded live.
I have seen the Dallas Symphony's Christmas show, and it is great, fantastic.
The only thing I've seen there was the video games live, which was like the orchestra doing like a bunch of video game themes. We went from school.
I'd love to see one of those. Yeah.
Speaking of school, let's go to the one for gifted youngsters.
Yeah, hey, nice.
Fucking professional over here. On today's show, we're gonna be going deep into all the favorite stuff, all the what the hell moments, into the first season of X-Men '97. We all finally got a chance to watch it, rewatch some stuff, some of the important stuff. So, let's see. We got a few categories of topics I want to talk about. I think I'm gonna start with our favorite episode because that seems like a very succinct answer. Hopefully. Does anybody want to kick us off with that? What was your favorite episode? There's only 10 guys. Come on.
Yeah, but it's more of a storyline for me because Life Death was like a 2-parter. Yeah. And I kind of love the fact that they invested in a story that from the comics that Storm went through and put it on screen. And it was more about a relationship and love than superhero antics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The only problem I had with that 2-parter was the fact that the first part was we got this 15-minute story with Jubilee for her 18th birthday, and then it went right into Storm. It was why. I mean,
yeah, the AB plots are weird the way they have them set up because they're cramming so much of the greatest X-Men stories into this show, and that's the coolest part of it. Is like it's hard to pick a favorite because there are stuff that we've all read that has been brought to life in here. That we have been able to see things like Nightcrawler teleporting that you can't see in the comics. Like that's what the animation's doing for us, is seeing the cool way Cyclops like can lower himself with his eye beams and shit. You know,
well, you already hit upon my favorite moment. I mean, the fact when Wolverine's like, I've got 6 reasons for this isn't going to work, and you had Nightcrawler come with 3 swords. He goes, no, 9.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, if you read Claremont comics, it was like. He would mix in episodes, right? There was no succinct one story. My favorite episode, Kyle just kind of touched on it. It was the Motendo because I love Jubilee, and then in that one we get 2 Jubilees, and we get to play kind of with a Super Nintendo, which was my system growing up. And you get to see Bobby and Jubilee just kind of hanging out.
Episode felt like. It felt like a classic X-Men issue. because you always had the main story and then you had a backup story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It felt like a classic X-Men kind of from the 80s.
Yeah, like teasing you. Here's a life that you've heard so much about, right? And it's about to kick off. But first, let's have a little fun, and then you get to see Mojo again and all those weird characters. I like the update of technology where maybe in the 80s coming into the early 90s, TV was the thing, but Mojo would move on to the next thing, which was video games at the time in the late 90s. So
he just knows where the audience is. Was that always Mojo's voice? Again, I never watched.
Not sure about that.
It sounded very similar. I don't know if it was the same voice actor.
Just in my head, that's not how Mojo sounds, but okay, So
I think it sounded different too. I can't say for certain, but yeah, I don't think so.
Well,
he did go on Ozempic or something because he was
true.
Yes, exactly.
So maybe that changed his vocal cords. I don't know. It's an alien race.
So this might be a weird example, but my favorite episode was honestly the darkest one, that mid-season episode where everyone dies. And
remember it?
Yeah, and the reason why was because, again, this whole season is just a masterclass in storytelling. I've said this on the show before, but Bo DeMeo and the creators have a kind of innate sense to know how long to spend on a story, right? The example I always give is cramming all of Inferno down into one episode, right? You don't need more than that, but it still hits all the same beats and it serves the same purpose, right? But the episode, what it does is it unexpectedly ups the intensity and the scale of this season, right? I think the greatest trick they pulled was reviving X-Men 97 and then slowly getting to that point, because up to then you're like, oh, this is good, this is fun, this is, there's some stuff happening, some soap opera stuff, and then that happens and you're like, oh, oh shit.
That's usually a cliffhanger for the end of the season, and they did it in the middle of the season. I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah. So that was my favorite episode. I mean, just because of, I think what it says about the potential of what they can do in this revival.
Josh is notorious for hating Gambit, so he was very glad that he was dead.
Hey, the show made me care about Gambit.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Exactly. I will. Yeah. Yeah. It did make me care about Gambit.
The death of Gambit opened the door for Nightcrawler.
You can't have too many people with accents on the team. It gets confusing. It gets confusing for the American viewer.
I wish Wolverine had a straight up Canadian accent without the grrr in his voice.
I know, just saying A all the time. And
we could go back to the 2 times he was an Australian.
Yeah. It could be a Bob and Doug McKenzie ripoff voice.
I would love it.
Jeff, do you have a favorite episode?
I'm with Josh. I hate Gambit, so that was my favorite episode. The thing I love about that episode, the sound design in that episode is amazing, because they do the thing where they drop the sound completely, so that the pacing of the show itself is also good, because honestly, the first part of that episode is a little bit of a slog. It's all the soap opera-y stuff.
That's the best part of the episode. What are you
talking if you're
about?
not into it, if you're not into it, then it's just kind of like, okay, let's get to the action, and then it totally delivers it. If you're into it, if you love the stuff, then you don't see the action come. Either way, it kind of lulls you. That first half of the show just kind of lulls you, and then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. And it just keeps, that whole episode goes from like very slow driving to 183 miles an hour and just keeps going, just keeps getting faster. It's just a masterclass in pacing. That episode is great. That's my favorite episode.
Nice. All right, I think that's everybody, right? We all went through our favorite stuff. Let's go to some of our favorite moments. We probably, I don't know that we'll touch on everything, but let's try to go around. Clay, we'll start with you, and we'll just kind of go around, and we'll get through as many as we can in about 10 minutes or so.
Nightcrawler joining the team, being put in the credits, fighting with Wolverine, and then we get to see the way he teleports and the way he brings people through. I mean, my favorite character, he's joined the team, and we get to see all the little cool bits of what he can do, and especially like just jumping up and sword fighting with Logan. That's my favorite. I mean, that's why he's my favorite character.
Yeah, he doesn't have a sword as much in the comics right now, and they need to bring.
Yeah, it depends. If he's with Excalibur or doing his own things, he'll have swords.
He's got that freaking magical sword he uses. I mean, it was in the Astonishing Spider-Man.
Oh, that's true. When he was playing Spider-Man for a while,
and they just used it recently to use on Hope when like in one of the comics he actually gave the sword to, like, I want to say it was his name, but they used it when Hope was trying to sever with Jean or something.
Yeah, no one knows what's happening in that comic. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't try to make it make sense, Kyle.
No. I'm not. I'm just saying, but I've seen him use a sword recently. I'm saying, like, he has this magical sword he can pull, like, out of his chest or something.
All right, Josh, you got a favorite moment?
Not one moment, but I just want to call out the fact I think this series has the best animated fight scenes I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I mean, just like, as a kid watching, Pride of the X-Men, and anytime they appeared and stuff, and again, famously, I never watched the original X-Men 90s cartoon, but they always try to do a good job of, like, showcasing the characters' abilities, but my God, the fight scenes in this are just riveting. They're really
let me have a quick sidebar with Kyle. Hey, Kyle, they don't watch enough anime, huh?
No kidding. I had to go, like, when he said best anime fight, I'm like going,
I was like, it was cool, but I've seen so much better. Like,
right, fair. That's fair. Okay.
All right, cool. Jeff, we'll go to you. You got a favorite moment you want to talk about?
All the stuff that is way better than the anime that I've ever seen. The trial of Magneto, like that moment is when he right after Storm gets hit and he's really super pissed and he yanks everybody up into the upper atmosphere.
The speech,
it's just the little speech that he gives. That thing is, that's beautiful. I love that scene.
Nice. All right, Kyle, what about you? Favorite moments?
It's either, like I said, I'm tied with Clay on the Nightcrawler and Wolverine fight scene, but then I love episode 9 when Xavier has already returned. He's talking to President Kelly about, hey, we're going to try to stop Magneto. And then you just have all of the X-Men getting into their old costumes. Like, I mean, we're talking about Claremont, Byrne costume. Yeah. And Wolverine gets into his brown costume, and then they go, okay, gold team goes here, blue team goes here, and then they got the old Blackbird compared with the new Blackbird, and they just take off, and that whole episode, they're just fighting. And then at the end of it, you see Wolverine skewer Magneto, and he does the whole rip the adamantium out of his body. So, like, I'm like, as an overall episode, I think episode 9 might be my favorite, because it really pulls back from what X-Men comics should be. Even though I know it's going from a lot of stories, it really brought the X-Men action, the one that made me fall in love with Mutant Team. So it's like, I think 9 is maybe my favorite.
And I do enjoy the credits updating every episode with the changes within the team. That's just cool to watch. To go, oh, wait a minute, what are we getting now?
Yeah, the openings update, and then the credits at the end. I think they change, or they focus on somebody different.
Well, the only thing we never got, and we saw multiple times in the intro, was we never really saw a scene with Cable and Apocalypse.
Oh yeah,
not yet.
Yeah, but this is season 1. What the fuck?
I mean, they already wiped out Genosha, man. Come on, give them a chance.
We got a little teaser at the end, right?
Oh, I know.
Multiple apocalypses.
But
Apocalypse. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Good.
I do have one minor criticism. It's specifically about Magneto and Wolverine, because that moment, as it built up to it, in my brain, I'm thinking, "Oh fuck, they're going to do it. Oh, they're going to do it." they're going to do it. And then when Magneto rips out his skeleton, in that moment, it makes no sense. It's like a still shot. Weird white stuff is coming out of him. And the thing is, I was curious, if you don't know what's happening right then, I don't think that scene makes any sense. So
I don't think, especially with, even though X-Men 97 isn't a kid's show, it's still on Disney Plus. You kind of got to be careful how you do something like that with the audience. So I think the still shot was really
Whoa. We had one of the stars of this team take a person and kill him on purpose. Rogue dropped a man to let him die, and the team was kind of okay with it.
But it was a robot.
All you hear is a crash. You never actually saw him impact the ground. That's what I'm trying to say.
Her intent was to kill.
Yeah, so it turned out to be a Sentinel.
Yeah, they didn't know that at the time. I've seen, but I feel like I've seen that still, like when they. Like that's an anime thing, isn't it? Where they shift to a still scene.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Also, he's already moving him around right before, so like the context of Magneto controlling Wolverine via the metal.
You can see his body, like something's about to rip out his head. You can see his body like almost bulging, so you know something's happening.
I have a few favorite moments. One of them was when Magneto finally tells Charles to shut up, and he just puts like a piece of metal around his mouth.
Yeah.
I think the first transformation from Ellen Pryor, the magical girl transformation, that was so it was such cool animation, and I'm like, oh damn, they're going for it right away. Like they're not even holding back. The whole Madeline Pryor stuff happened like all in 20 minutes, not even a whole episode.
Exactly.
No, man, we had so much more fun in the comics with like the Mutant X run and the Goblin Queen stuff.
Oh fuck yeah.
And then they introduce Madeline Pryor, and 2 episodes later, kill her. I mean, it's wild how much they pack into this season. I mean,
well, not even that.
They're all just waiting in the white hot room. That's what
5 seasons of not knowing, of not even saying who Cable is, and then boom, he makes his first appearance in episode 5, and then she's like, "Oh my God, Nathan!" It's like, well, okay, now we know.
Yeah, right.
I just love that he shows up at a certain time period and then disappears. So he like shows up right before the big thing and is like, "Hey, you guys got to win this," and then is gone.
Right. Yeah.
So if Cable shows up, shit's bad.
Do you think he ever shows up at inconvenient times, like Wolverine's on the pooper or something? Cable, what are you doing here? No.
It's like, occupied,
occupied, bub. Or maybe he walks in on his parents trying to make a little sibling for him.
Oh Lord,
that's scarred for life.
Well, but you say inopportune time. The thing is, when he shows up with Wolverine had been having a hard time passing anything, and that just knocked it right out. So he's actually there on purpose.
He just shows up and then pops out. He's like, "This is all I was here for."
Exactly. You're welcome. Call me Bismol.
You sent me to this moment to launch that for you.
Oh Jesus! No, his new mutant name is X-Lax.
This is why the people show up.
Oh, thank you. I'll be here all week.
This fall by Scott Lobdell.
That would be a hell of a mutant power, though. You just make anybody shit like themselves. Like,
it would be good. Yeah.
Well, that was honestly actually in Transmetropolitan. Spider Jerusalem had a gun that would make you evacuate your bowels.
That's right. I forgot about that. Oh my God.
Magneto, don't make me do this. I don't want to put the president down. I know. And then it's Magneto in the white outfit, so it's even worse.
Oh God, can you imagine the White Queen?
Yeah. Oh boy.
Here's our diarrhea segment.
Any other favorite
that famous cover where Scott's holding dead Jean Grey and he's making that face. He's not making that face because she's dead.
He's holding it in.
He's trying real hard.
Real hard.
Okay, my last comment is this show is better than any 3 X-Men movies put together. Period.
You said that before, and by the time I ended the last episode, I was in full agreement. So I totally agree with you. Yes.
I would say that maybe pound for pound, X-Men United can go to like can go against this show on its own. But yeah, if you put another trilogy, I just really like X2. Like it's my favorite X-Men movie.
X2 is great, but
it comes in hot from the beginning.
But also, the best thing about this show is it's not the Wolverine show, and that's what the movies are for the most part. So this show has better balance.
Which one's X-Men United?
The one with Trask and where he tries to build his own Cerebro to kill.
Okay.
Nightcrawler. I mean, just that opening scene with Nightcrawler.
The opening
in the White
scene
House.
with Nightcrawler. Yeah.
Why is
that
Nightcrawler
dude will
so cool?
fuck you up?
But he chooses not to, right? He chooses not to. That's what's cool about Kurt. Don't back him into a corner where he has to bamf his way out of.
Where does this now that we've all seen it, where does this land on your pantheon of comic book cartoons?
Wow.
Oh.
I would say there's still one that beats it out for me, and that's Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Oh, see, I still have Batman the Animated Series, but
that's why Batman the Animated
Marvel.
Series.
Taking out DC, Marvel, staying Marvel.
Okay.
I haven't revisited, but just because of nostalgia, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I always loved Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, and that's always going to be my favorite because that's the epitome of what Marvel Comics should be.
Yeah, that was just the coolest. Them being normal, them fighting crime. It's
still early. It's early for that question, Jeff. It's hard to answer without the whole thing, especially because it's a kind of a continuation of the other one. So, like, how do I judge it? Do I judge the whole thing as one thing?
That's gonna be my question. Like, can I decouple it from X-Men in the 90s? Because this on its own,
it's a continuation, but it's up the bar, so it's almost
it's way better.
So this is not. I don't think this is a kid show at all. Like the first one was the kid show, and this is for the fans of that first show.
Right.
I don't think any kids are coming into this.
It's not for the kids of those kids.
It's not. What? Yeah. I'd be curious to see how many young people are watching this show. Like anybody under like the age of like 15 or whatever.
I've never. So we have a comment. I really, really want Kitty Pryde to be Tom Holland's fighting new girlfriend.
I'm okay.
I've never had them as a couple. That's interesting.
No, it happened.
They were in
Ultimate Universe.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh, and the Ultimate Spider-Man. Okay.
I'm okay
That's
with
probably where that comes from. Interesting.
I'm curious though if they do bring in a Kitty Pryde the way we saw Kitty Pryde as a young X-Men coming up, or are we going to see a Jubilee in that role? Like, are they going to make Kitty Pryde older and more like part of the mutant administration? I'm curious because she's been everything, and that's what's great about Kitty Pryde. If they start her young, it'd be a great way to watch her and Jubilee grow up. But are we going to also throw in Magic? We got a whole bunch of teenagers in the X-Men crew right there.
That's right. How do we get Doug Ramsey in there? He talks to everything.
Okay. Hold on.
Where's Cannonball?
Where's Cannonball?
I looked at our list, and we are bypassing one of the most interesting things they did in episode 10.
Okay.
Morph sitting next to Wolverine, changing to Jean and going, "I love you."
Oh,
yeah. That was pretty wild for his manipulation.
Even the creator says, yes, that's supposed to mean Morph is in love with Wolverine, not him trying to make it Jean. He made it easier for Jean.
No, that's been confirmed. Someone asked Bo DeMayo on Twitter or on social, and he's like, "Yeah, that's exactly what we meant."
This show is not subtle about any of what it's doing, for sure.
I just thought that they were misleading Wolverine to try to bring it back.
No,
there's hints dropped all over that series. Morph is wildly.
They really care about Logan, like not just as a friend. So Morph, I mean,
cuddle buddy.
Going back all the way to the beginning, like they were both like the kind of the friends, the buddies, right from the beginning. So like, I could see that.
Can I ask a stupid Morph question?
Go for it.
I did not think his powers meant that when he turned into another hero, he got their powers.
We talked about this before. Yeah.
Okay.
Some kind of upgrade or something. We're not sure.
Because the most powerful superhero in all existence.
Yeah, maybe Sinister did something to them, and now that's I don't know. Like I don't know what all happened within. Because you go every time turn into Thor, turn into the Hulk. Why am I even fucking around? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So
I thought it was cool that we saw Psylocke twice. Once when Murph turned into Psylocke, and then we saw actual Psylocke. So I wonder if they'll dive into all that Betsy Braddock garbage mess.
Well, there's hints. There's that last scene when Bishop comes back and Forge is in the X Mansion, and he's got all these pictures of who's on, like all the different mutants and who's off world, who's missing. And there's been speculation that he might form his own X-Men team come next season while they're stuck in time.
I think they're gonna make like an X-Force or
it's very similar of like right after Fall of the Mutants, like when everybody thought the X-Men were dead, and then there was this kind of like mini X-Men team that kind of popped up, or something like that.
My only disappointment was I thought as they were wrapping up that episode and they vanished that they were going to do the end of Fall of the Mutants, and I'm like, be in Australia, and then they weren't, and I was very sad.
I think did they? I don't remember if they went through the Siege Parallax already in the original. I think that might have already. I don't know.
Oh, did they do that already?
I don't know.
Yeah, they were in Search Parallax when they during the Dark Phoenix, or not during the first Phoenix saga.
Oh, that's
so I think they might have already used up that. I guess that's another thing, right? I never went back to see what stories they've already covered in the original.
That's a good point. Yeah,
I don't think they would repeat them. I do, and this kind of brings us to the next thing I wanted to talk about, like how, as an adaptation of all these stories, right? One thing before we move on to that though, since Kyle brought up that the chart of missing mutants, Pietro and Wanda are off-world. Are they over in Counter-Earth with
High Evolutionary?
With the High Evolutionary discovering that they're not Magneto's kids?
That would be great.
Well, I don't think did they ever point to the fact that they were Magneto's kids in the original series?
They did when Magneto's inside of when they're both inside of Magneto's head. You see them on the boat, and you see Rogue, and then you see the outline of his three kids, which is Lorna and Pietro and Wanda. So I mean, it was heavily hinted that he's got people that he cares about. Obviously, Rogue's the only one that we've kind of dove into, but yeah, that'll be interesting because I know people hate that storyline. I don't like that retcon.
They've unretconned it, haven't they?
Yeah. They're back to being his kids in the comics again.
So that'll be season 3. So next season they're not his kids, and then in season 3 they will be his kids again.
I think we're seeing a scenario where we might be able to see Rick Remender's Uncanny X-Force storyline in here, where it's one of my favorite runs, and it's dark as hell, but it's an X-Men team that goes back in time to kill Apocalypse.
Yeah. And then they come back with the kid Apocalypse, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Rick Remender. Ooh, more Rick Remender talk in a few, probably like in 30 minutes or so.
So great. Love his stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the adaptation. So we got a few adaptations of a few things. Is there a particular one, like particular storyline you saw this season? Obviously, we saw Life Death. We saw X for Extinction. We saw a little bit of what's the Inferno kind of, right, in that one episode. I guess, how do they work? What did you guys think? Any of those stand out?
There's also the Bastion storyline. I mean, that was a whole like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Life Death. I was so hyped to see they were doing that, and they totally pulled it off. And again, I think it just speaks to their understanding of how to navigate all these storylines, right? Life Death is such an essential story.
Yeah.
You can't hand that to any new X-Men reader and be like, go read this. It goes right over your head. And so I love that one. I thought it was great.
I did recently go back like Clay and read that issue of Life Death, and because Clay's always talking about Forge's apartment, which is a high rise, like all glass, you can just look straight through it. And just thinking about the storms that we've had roll through the Dallas area, I think it would be terrifying to be in Forge's apartment during one of those storms.
I'll say this, we didn't really get Fall of the Mutants, but we were to get the Fall of the Mutants. I want them to show up in Dallas.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. If there's a town that hates other people, it's Dallas.
I would say maybe the surrounding counties.
The surrounding counties.
I will say too. I think the Life Death was really, really good. We did. I mean, they were in Texas, right? We see that the bar is in Texas where they meet up the first time. So maybe they could definitely go there.
And we get like one shot of Rogue and her biker punk gear. One shot, and then
Oh yeah.
He did have some great looks this season. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I did like when Rogue. It was very subtle, but when Rogue switched sides, she was in her old outfit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was a period where everyone had their original outfit on in it.
Well, almost. Wolverine went to do a second outfit, but I love the fact he went into brown costume. That's been my favorite outfit ever since. And
I mean, we got to see Rogue in Savage Land costume. So,
I mean, Rogue showed up in her Savage Land costume in that flashback. Although it wasn't as scantily clad as the comics version of it. I think my favorite outfit, if you guys want to talk about your favorite outfits too, or your changes, was when Jubilee and Bobby are at the mall. She's trying on like a full-on like a black jumpsuit thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they get attacked, so like she just has to leave. I don't think she even paid for it. But I like the outfit because then she just still puts on her coat, her overcoat, right? So it's like kind of switching from the shorts and the pink shirt into
wasn't
like
that her
those small babies.
Yeah.
Isn't that her Generation X outfit?
I think so.
That's her.
Yeah. Which is great. I like that one. And then like her glasses get cooler, and then they break up in the end.
Well, how about Robert going into the original like New Mutants costume?
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool.
I do like that.
I the Watcher showing up, like just for that, like if you caught it, you caught it. If you didn't, you didn't.
Yeah.
I
posted a screenshot in chat because it's just in the sky and it just kind of outlines Utah.
Really? Hang on.
He's wearing his invisible outfit.
Yeah, it's just like an outline, and it happens just right before the E for Extinction stuff happens. So
yeah, so it's bad when Utah and Cable show up.
You get a little
taking a crap.
You get a little thing of the Westworld theme, and Jeffrey Wright starts narrating your party. Any other thing?
I like how they lightly tethered it to the MCU sort of. Because anytime they used magic, it was the Doctor Strange kind of circle symbols.
Yeah.
We got a Carmitage shout out.
Yeah, that was nice.
I'm gonna say, like, I think the changes. My favorite is still stunning one was when Storm gets her powers back and she's just flying up, racing around the sky, and she forms into her old Dave Cockrum.
Yeah,
it's like so good.
Does it make any sense? Fuck no. Because why does her hair grow back?
Don't matter.
But it was
cartoons,
cool.
Man.
It was cool.
You don't know what the weather can do.
I really liked it at the end when we get the surprise Phoenix coming up out of the water, and I believe there is just a brief shot of her like no she's still wearing her old
Marvel Girl costume.
Yeah, her old outfit, but it was great watching that happen. So
I want to bring up, how about the cameos that we get in the series, non-mutant cameos?
Captain America,
Iron Man,
Doctor Strange, Spider-Man.
Rogue was like, go get your Frisbee, old man.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my one thing. If we don't get a fucking Daredevil animated show of this, because he shows up a lot in that last episode.
Well, Daredevil. Here I got one for you. Why the fuck is the Black Panther T'Challa's dad?
That's a good question, because it isn't T'Challa. It's King T'Chaka at the moment.
He should be dead.
I think in the original cartoon, when they did show Wakanda, it was already T'Challa. So I don't know.
What if
yeah,
they're gonna have him become king and become Black Panther? Wakanda's rules change, and that may include accepting mutants, and they may spend a season in Wakanda. Because they have no place to live.
Oh, that would be good. Or here's another thing. So this takes place in the late 90s, right?
Yeah.
97. What if this is actually tied into the MCU? That would have been before T'Challa became Black Panther.
I think that's why they might have made that change if it's a retcon. Because if they want to, even if it's not like in the MCU proper, they want to kind of have the timelines match up in different dimensions. And then,
we already had one love triangle. Season 2 or 3, we get the second love triangle where it's basically Storm, T'Challa, and Forge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Ooh.
They get Claremont to write it.
We also got a real, all the villains. We got a Doom cameo. We got a Baron Zemo.
That was
Zemo.
Yeah.
It was like the Cabal. It was like the Cabal.
In the
Omega
worst
Red.
Zoom, that was the worst Zoom setup that I've ever seen. With a bunch of TVs around. Now,
it reminds
97.
Omega Red in this version looks like he's part of the Winter Guard.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out why he was showing up specifically.
I don't know that he's a villain per se right now, because the Winter Guard is just like the Avengers of Russia. Now, whether if the political views of the 90s with Russia and the US were not in alignment and you consider them villains, then that's a whole different story.
But 97 is post-wall.
Yeah.
I was gonna say when does the Soviet Union fall apart? I can't remember.
89.
89. The wall fell.
I also think.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna mention we get to see the Silver Samurai multiple.
I was just wondering that up. Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's how Wolverine's gonna get his adamantium back. He's gonna go on a trip to Japan, maybe take Kitty Pryde with him or something, or maybe meet Kitty over there. And because the Silver Samurai is one of the other people that can
and we see
form adamantium, right? Like,
no, he has the power to channel like this kinetic energy that allows him to cut through anything. He doesn't form adamantium.
No, but I mean he knows how to wield it because his armor's made out of it. Like he knows how to forge it.
Only in the Wolverine movie was it made
in
out
the
of
Wolverine movie. Yeah,
I mean maybe that's what they're taking because otherwise, how did he get an adamantium suit?
He never did. In comic books, he's never had one. It was always he just samurai.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. So that was only from the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe they're bringing that in because he's got to get his.
Remember, in the movie, it's also Mariko's dad who's a Silver Samurai, not her half brother.
How does Wolverine get his group back?
Apocalypse. Fuse him back with adamantium. So it has to be.
You think he's gonna be a horseman?
That's what I wonder. Could he be a four horse? But I mean, come on, we already got the hint that Gambit's going to become one.
Yeah,
we had the four horsemen: Wolverine, Gambit, Banshee. Banshee died. We saw him. We saw him explode.
And Madeline Pryor.
No, and then everyone's favorite, Leech.
Whoa, Leech would be a great one.
Well, wait, did Leech die? Did they confirm that?
We don't know.
I think so. He was in Magneto.
He was like holding on to Magneto during that scene.
I just kept thinking Leech is the last guy you want right next to you if you're trying to save somebody. Like, get away, kid! You're gonna zap me in my power.
I think he had learned to control it because they were all still using their powers. So I think that's a different. I don't know if that's different in the films. I know that Leech couldn't really control his powers.
Yeah.
But
in the comic books.
Yeah, in the comics.
But I think maybe in Genosha he learned how to control them. Otherwise, nobody would want to be around him in Genosha because he's just turning off people's powers left and right.
Yeah.
True.
That would be great for Rogue though. She'd be like, just cover your eyes, Leech, and just don't listen to what's about to happen.
Yeah. Okay. No, but yeah, I think the other horseman could be Madeline Pryor. I think that's a good call, or even Callisto. I think she'd be cool.
Or even Sunfire's been in a Four Horsemen.
Did he die? But has he been in the show?
He's made he's in the background. He's made in the background.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I was going with confirmed deaths, but yeah, that'd be interesting. In the Remender run, I think with the Apocalypse twins, I think Sunfire is one of them, and Banshee and Gambit. I think that's how he comes back too. So, cool. All right, let's see. Do we have? I think we've already talked about favorite characters. Any more favorite characters? Any more of the stuff you really enjoyed?
I mean, I just like seeing cameos. I mean, whether they're more changing into him or not, but like seeing Glob and just background characters from like more. Yeah, the more current runs and stuff is kind of cool.
I like that they were picking from everything. I think they even mentioned Gold Balls at the beginning.
They do.
So like Gold Balls, he's the one that makes the eggs where the mutants resurrect.
Right. Yeah.
You don't think they'll do a Genosha season?
I've deleted the entire Krakoan Age from my brain now that it's over.
What if they do a whole season of Krakoa though? That would be.
I did as the season was wrapping up. I was trying to think ahead, like what storyline might they do for season 2. That did come up. Krakoa did. I was thinking maybe they will do Krakoa. That's how they could bring back all the dead mutants.
Yeah,
I think they're going to see an Age of Apocalypse storyline.
Well, yeah, that makes sense now.
During the last episode, we see a picture of Peter and Mary Jane looking at a television.
Yeah, that's true.
He found her apparently. Remember,
I guess so.
End of the experiment, it was him and Madam Web looking for Mary Jane in the multiverse.
Yeah, Dakota Johnson's Madam Web was looking.
She finally found.
Mary Jane Watson.
Don't ask her what's going on. She doesn't know.
Yeah, I somehow missed that Spider-Man reference. I saw him in the 9th episode, but in the 10th one, I kept as it was really I'm like, well, where's Spidey? So.
And you see them both.
The Marvel may be talking about doing Spider-Man animated 97.
The cool thing is you see them both, and then you see Flash Thompson walking in the background, and I'm like, are we getting a Venom too? Like he's been an
Agent Venom.
Yeah. Which is another Remender. Like Remender had a big run with Agent Venom. Just to adapt all the Remender stuff.
You know what else I liked about this series? We got a glimpse for the first time of like a nice Beast again. Like Beast hasn't been like cool in the comics for like a decade. Yeah. Like he's always.
You should finish reading X-Force.
Yeah, he is now. Like one of the clone bodies he'd made was actually Beast before he ever went through his second change.
Oh, okay. So OG.
Yeah, they fixed him. I'm telling you, they put everything back where they found it.
Thank you.
For the most part.
Speaking of
the most part, and it makes no sense. Oh, I have so many opinions. This is not.
Speaking real quick of just blink and you'll miss it.
Blink was there, you're right.
Yeah.
Right?
Blink was there. Yeah.
Oh, Blink was there. As they're kind of showing everyone in the aftermath, was the woman whose hand Beast was holding in the hospital bed, was that the reporter?
Yeah, probably Trish or Tish.
Okay. All right.
They had a relationship in the comics.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, was it? She is the Beast, what Amanda is the Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
His stepsister?
That made
his
stepsister.
They occasionally
that's a clip. That's a clip.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a lot of sibling stuff going on online. It'll get clicks.
Oh my god.
Tag it properly.
I'm not gonna upload it to a YouTube channel. Don't worry, it's gonna go on another website.
All right, guys, it's been
good. You can't get those websites in Texas anymore, though, right?
It's true.
You guys are not using a VPN properly. So, speaking of that, does anybody have like your big what the fuck moment? Like you're like, I can't believe they're doing this shit. They've crossed the line.
Well, Genosha would have been that.
Genosha, yeah. Like
Genosha,
it just blew me away in the middle of the season to just like commit genocide.
That's a pretty strong choice, I think, for sure. But everything leading up to it was like really cool, and then Gambit went out like a boss.
Oh man.
Yeah, that is the coolest Gambit moment.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, a cool Gambit moment. There can be more than one, right?
When he comes back as a disciple of Apocalypse,
so,
that will be
somebody's never seen Wolverine Origins when he goes like this with the playing cards.
Yeah.
For some reason, they're all just floating in the air because that's what he does.
And yet, I say a movie that's worse than Green Lantern.
We have a whole.
Yes.
Listen, we already did a whole episode about this. It's already been recorded. We've already gotten to the worst movie, and I think it's Catwoman. So don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can at least watch Halle Berry in that, though. In Green Lantern, you have.
I've got Blake Lively and Blake.
Listen,
in Green Lantern.
That's where Ryan Reynolds met Blake Lively, and I'm happy. So if anything good came out of that film, was their marriage. So there you go.
Well, two beautiful people found each other. Wow, that never happens, man. I'm glad they found each other. God forbid they go
and
loveless
they
their
stay
entire
together,
pretty life.
And they're still together. All right. So, and now Ryan Reynolds is making all the movies that we want to see. It's all a domino effect. It's
a domino.
A domino. I don't know if you've seen that meme of like the big domino effect thing where it's like 9/11 and then like the Twilight films or something like that.
I wouldn't blame 9/11 for that, but
this has got dark real quick.
Shit.
And it's all connected. If you go through the lines. Is there any characters you want to see in next season, or any that you kind of missed? They should have put in this
Magic.
We got a little bit of
Rasputin.
Pride. Why is she not part of this show? I don't understand.
Jubilee.
They can't throw all the teen. I think that's why they finally went like, oh yeah, Jubilee's 18 now. Maybe we need another like young teenager. So we got a little glimpse of Magic when Morph transformed into Magic. When they were fighting Madeline Pryor.
Oh wow. Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch actually have them come, like actually prominent, like voiced characters.
Yeah. We do see Quicksilver because Morph turns into him at one point.
I see Kitty Pryde.
Kitty Pryde, yeah. And if we go with Kitty Pryde, I would love just an Excalibur appearance, like OG team.
No. Only because we've got her in the future. Let's see a young Rachel Summers.
That's what I was gonna ask. So who's in that Excalibur team from the 90s? Is it Nightcrawler, Rachel Summers,
Captain Britain, Megan, and Phoenix.
Because I've only read more of the contemporary.
Oh no, go read the original stuff. Read the original book.
Yeah, because a lot of it comes up in the marriage book. So there's a lot of references with like the werewolves and
wedding issue.
The werewolves.
All right. Is there anything else we want to touch on for X-Men?
And if we do get Kitty, I do want that early Excalibur costume with the big puffy blue jacket.
I want the Sprite outfit.
Gloves.
Sprite
outfit, where it's just like anything she found in the closet.
Again, that's the 90s thing ever.
Yeah, like why are you wearing
it's not
a tutu? I don't know.
Yeah, it's whatever's in the closet. You put it on, it's what's clean. That's your outfit.
Are those Converses? Yes, they are. All right. Cool. Well, I'm glad we finally got to talk about this. I think we have been talking a little bit about it for a while, so but now we're catching up now that Josh was able to finally watch. I don't know why it took so long.
I hate the fact it's going to take so long to get a season 2 out, though. I mean, I get animation takes long, but it's like, are you guys really trying to focus on it as much as you should?
Well, and I'm really worried about Bo DeMayo not being part of it. I'm hoping at some point we get the story.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought I had read that he'd been hired back on as just like a head writer, so he's not a showrunner.
Okay,
he's like part of the writing staff again.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I thought I had read that.
You come to this podcast for all your misinformation.
For probable rumors.
What other Marvel properties should they do next if they're gonna do an anime? Because it just worked. Daredevil,
New Mutants.
That'd be a good spin-off of this.
Avengers. I want to see that universe Avengers.
We've seen enough Avengers on this show that they could put something together.
Excalibur.
I want to confirm Spider-Man. Reemerge with the Spider-Man animated series.
I think the only thing that I feel like they're not going to do that yet is because we have that Spider-Man animated show coming, the high school one.
That's right. Damn it.
That might.
Based on this team and their in the animation studio, I would love a Doctor Strange animated series. That would be baller.
Full on Kirby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or Ditko, I guess.
I don't know if the rights are fuzzy to this, but I would like an Exiles show where they could like bounce in between universes, since we already have an established multiverse.
Do you have a new morph, or do you take this morph out of the X-Men and put him in that Blink team?
I think I would take this morph and put him on, because then that could give you your emotional tether to the show going forward.
Yeah, it would be interesting to have Morph travel and see different versions of himself, since we've seen like I guess it was Mimic that was in that team early on with Blink.
Yeah.
I kind of want them to try again with the Fantastic Four, just so I can get more Doctor Doom.
Well, I mean, it's funny based on Jeff's question earlier about like Marvel animated series. The Christopher Yost FF series, where it's kind of anime influenced, is a fantastic FF animated series.
The 90s.
It's not the 90s one. I think it's like early 2000s. It's really, really good.
This will play off of Jeff, but what a Defenders series.
I like Defenders series.
Yeah, because then you get your Hulk, you get your
Doctor Strange,
Surfer,
and he can bring anybody else in that you kind of want to be like. I mean, who was
that
part?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It was 2006.
2006.
World's Greatest Heroes.
It is the most faithful to the original. I mean, like they kind of go through the original like issues as the episode. It's really good.
My last pitch is, and since we've gotten a Baron Zemo, just give me Thunderbolts. While the whole world's in disarray, you can do a Thunderbolts. Or if you do an Age of Apocalypse, you could explain why there's a need for a Thunderbolt series.
Yeah, that's true.
That'd be cool.
So, all right. Yeah, we'll see if Franklin Richards comes in and puts everyone in a bubble. Cool.
God, I wouldn't name series I don't want them to do after you said that.
Heroes Reborn?
Heroes Reborn.
In the style of Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld?
Oh.
Come on, that was some of this Liefeld work.
I would love it if we got a Heroes Reborn episode, though. Like, just one episode.
Can you imagine just Cap turning and his body takes up the entire screen?
That's just the world they land on. Everybody's
a completely footless episode.
It's just the episode starts with Nightcrawler bamfing around, so like there's always smoke on the ground, so you never see anybody's feet. We really need to stop letting Kurt bamf indoors.
Hey,
that can't be
deal
good
with
for the
smell. They
can't
got
be good for the carpet.
Plugins all over the X Mansion.
He's bamfing around to plug in the plugins.
The X Mansion needs to have those. You know when you see a house and you see the little extractor thing at the top that's spinning.
Oh,
The X Mansion doesn't have any of those, and I feel like it should.
Yeah,
they rarely mention the sulfur smell anymore because they used to mention it all the time, and now they don't.
Yeah, like Nightcrawler's been here. All right. Well, that was it. We've talked about X-Men 97. We'll never talk about it again ever. So if you missed it, too bad.
Who smells worse? Who's the worst smelling mutant? Because I want to say Juggernaut's always in that suit, so he has to be the smelliest.
Yeah,
he takes it off.
Well, he's not a mutant, so whatever.
No,
I just did it.
He
before
takes it off, but does he wash it out? That's the question.
Right.
I just did it before somebody else did it in the comments, Clay. You know.
Well, wait, no. If we're going by Ultimate X-Men, he is a mutant.
Oh, I haven't read that. I'm only reading the new Ultimate X-Men, the new Ultimate Universe stuff. So
read the original stuff. It's awesome.
What I will say, doesn't Hulk eat a guy or something? I don't know if I want to read that.
That's the original Ultimates. Yeah,
He
goes through. I want to eat Freddie Prinze Jr. because Betty Ross is on a date with him.
Right. Oh my god, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that Hulk's a really weird write up by Miller.
I think Beast has the smell kind of weird all the time, especially after he gets wet.
Yeah.
I mean, Wolverine probably smells like beer and just like cheap cigars.
Cigars. Yeah. What else? I'm trying to think. I bet. Oh, do you guys think Glove Herman smells like a candle?
Who?
No.
his body is wax, right? So like,
what would Blob smell like?
I mean, if you've ever been outside and bought the natural wax, like it doesn't have a bad smell to it, like the beeswax.
Yeah, it doesn't, but if it heats up, it can.
Oh, but it tends to take on the smell of whatever is around. So as long as Herman's not hanging out with Wolverine or being bamped around with Nightcrawler. So, all right. Let us know your favorite smelling X-Men in the comments. Or your worst. So,
who do you think is the best? I think it's
Aurora.
Oh boy. We're not going to talk about smelling.
Smelling ladies.
She smells like the air after the rain.
Yeah.
Which is just a lovely smell.
Cyclops in X-Men 97 finally gets his due, like at the beginning of the series, and then he becomes like a jerk again. But like the way they use the way they utilize his concussion force blasts.
Yeah.
In that first episode where we see him zooming around and stuff like that.
I would say about the last couple episodes, he kind of redeems himself a bit.
He does kind of redeem himself at the end, but he's just like, I'll never abandon my son. I'm out of here. Like, he's just.
I'm not my dad, Corsair. It's a long story. We don't have time to get into it.
He's like, literally, there's a scene where he's like, I hate you, Professor X. And then the next person walks in and he's like, I hate you. And he's like, we don't have time for that.
Real quick, we did get Vulcan in the series.
Yeah, he does show up. We do see him in the background in like the first or second episode.
Oh,
like when Xavier is in space.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite, Vulcan.
Oh, I forgot how mean they were to Earth in that episode.
Oh, we get Gladiator. We get a death bird stomping on the dude's throat.
Yeah, that was Ronan. That's Ronan. Yeah, she's putting that heel in his face.
You got to pay for some of that kind of service here. All right, go to those aforementioned websites.
Oh dear God.
All right. Damn, I had one more thing, but I forgot what it was because I'm being hilarious. I guess we're just gonna move on. All right. So we are going to do a quick comic review before we get into all this other stuff. We're going to be talking about, it's not a new comic from this week, but it is a relatively new comic. It just came out, what was it? A couple of weeks ago, I think?
Like 2 weeks ago, yeah.
It's called Grommets.
Yes.
Okay, so I got to ask before we get into the review, does that mean anything?
Yes. Yeah. They explain it kind of, I think at the very end, which is a grommet is a new skater.
Okay.
Yeah. You know I don't read any of that back matter.
Well,
there's a good part to kind of get from Brian and Rick their backgrounds in skating and where they came from.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. They're not posers, are they?
Not from the talk, the way they sounded.
Shane skateboarded?
All right, so let's talk about this. This is written by Rick Remender and Brian Posehn.
Oh, fuck yes.
By Brett Parsons, colors by Moreno Dinicio, and letters by Rose Wooten. Super rad. Let me give you a quick synopsis, and then we'll talk about the actual issue. Two best friends, outcasts, navigate the Sacramento suburbs in 1984, where they find a home in skateboard culture and punk rock. On one side of the coin, Grommets is an authentic look at the 80s skater culture, a snapshot of the generation that turned skating into a worldwide phenomenon. On the other hand, a heartfelt coming-of-age story that follows two friends' troubled homes as they navigate their damage in an era where no one cared. So I brought a whole bunch of people that were teenagers in the 80s. Guys, did no one care?
I have a purpose.
I know, same.
Did no one care back in the day about where you guys were after dark?
You have to
Nobody
go back
did.
to this. Let me give you a setup of this time period. You're also talking about like in the early 80s when the highest divorce rate in America ever happened. So you have half the kids are in divorced homes. So like I went home by myself, made my own food, just took care of my own shit because I could do whatever I wanted to because I had no dad and my mom was always at work. So you always knew someone whose parents weren't at home, so you could go do whatever. So that was kind of that's where I think you see things come out of the 80s like Jackass and stuff, because you had these kids who were just left alone to go do whatever.
Well, it wasn't even that. It's like, even if, let's say you did come from a home that was still like your parents were together, you could be left in the front yard to play. You could leave. You could ride your bike to your friend's house, leave it in the front yard, and I'll still be there 8 hours later.
Yes.
But it's also that we also had to have celebrities come on our television and be like, "Hey, parents, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are?
Exactly.
Do you remember that you are parents? Like, don't forget.
If there is responsible for kids. If there is any tagline for Gen X's kids, it's like our parents may have forgotten us at times.
So when we lived in Alabama, we lived in a tiny little town, And my brother and I would just go roam around after school, we were just on our bikes roaming around. And basically we knew it was time to come home because my dad would go in the backyard and he had this incredibly loud whistle. And he would just whistle in a way that we knew. And we're like, oh shit, that's Dad. We got to go home. I mean, and that's just how it worked. I mean, you really just roamed around on your own.
Yeah.
But yeah, this book just captures the 80s. It captures skate culture. There's a moment where the two characters, while they're going to the skate park in his grandfather's truck, are talking about their boards. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I used those trucks. I used those wheels. Like, oh shit, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Spitfires.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Second question: which one of you guys skateboarded when y'all were teens?
A little bit.
I mean, I wasn't good, but
yeah, same. I wasn't good. I remember there was before I got my license. I mean, really, I was, like my friends had their licenses and stuff, and it was just like a way to get around town. Like I could ride up to the school, and I spent a lot of time alone on a computer, and doing this alone was great because you're at peace. You can put on your headphones and just go skate, and you do your own tricks. And I would skate with a couple of guys that would build a ramp and stuff. And so, but their parents were always around. So it was weird. We would go to their house and their parents would help us build ramps. And we were like, how do we build a skate park? And they're like, well, you have to have a lot of insurance. But I remember the last thing I rode before I got my license was why I quit riding, was riding up a ramp, putting my tail down, my foot staying on the ramp, and my board coming down, and your legs just split on the ramp on the way down. That just tightens up everything inside you, and you just go, I don't want to feel that ever again.
When you're putting on your headphones to go skating around, what are you listening to?
Oh my gosh!
Were you listening to that Devil's Band Rush?
Yes. Fucking yeah, Rush is awesome, man. Like I love that he picks like some of the best music at the time. The fall that he writes in the book. Mm-hmm. I think if anyone's ever skated has had that happen where you're just like you've got a groove or you're going too fast, and then there's a rock. Because that's all it took for those wheels back in the day, because they were never able to handle just going over any rough. So you just went flying face first.
I love that sequence because it starts with the meteor.
I know. It's like you get like a 3-page history of the universe. It's so good.
Yeah. It's like how did this little rock get to where it's to cause this guy to face plant?
But I mean, the one thing that's really connected me with this book is as I've been rehabbing and healing, I've wanted to ride a skateboard again. So that's one of my goals is to kind of save up to get a board, because as I've just been doing PT. So it's boring, stuff. But one of the things I do is on a balance board. And it's man, this has kind of made me want to go skate again, even though if I fall, my knees, my shoulders, my spine are all fucked up. I'd rather go out on a skateboard than just doing it sneezing hard in bed. You know what I'm saying?
This part of the podcast is brought to you by Metamucil Silver.
Oh man! Well, and I do also. So the skate park they go to in the book, we had one like that in San Antonio, and I loved it. Now I am really bad on ramps. I could never do the big half pipe, but I could go through all the little stuff. It was awesome. So
yeah, we only did a quarter pipe. I never there was a skate park at Bachman Lake, but we never got out there, so we just skated the street. Yeah.
Where? Which side of the lake was it on?
Well, before you were born, there was this.
I mean, I've been to Bachman Lake, and other than all those bodies on the lake, I don't know. I've never heard of it.
Dude, it was in the 80s, so I'm pretty sure
here we go.
Thing.
I don't know you can't really see it. I have a scar on my arm. It's right there.
Yeah.
Where a rock was in my arm, and it was exactly. I was going too fast down a hill, and I was trying to very ease over to the curb so I could just leap into the grass. And I just angled a bit too far, and the board just spun out from under me, and I just face planted. And then down the hill on my face and my arms.
So you weren't wearing elbow pads?
No. I didn't wear a helmet or any pads. It was
dude, again, we didn't even have seatbelt laws. So like this is the time where like safety wasn't like that big of a deal, and there's no parents telling you put on a helmet, dude.
Well, not even that. You see this in the first part of the comic book. The dad's driving the kid in this Corvette. He pulls into the liquor store with a freaking can. This is when you can still drink in cars.
Drink and drive. Yeah, it was a normal thing.
Beer place, yeah.
Who rode with a parent that drank in their car? I mean, that was just like a normal thing whenever I saw my dad the 5 times I saw him.
I don't know what the statue is, so I'm not going to talk about. No, I'm just kidding. My parents don't really drink. What's the big hunk? Is that the candy bar thing?
Yeah.
I do like seeing all the little businesses in the back. There's a Taco Bell. You can. I mean, I don't know.
Classic Taco Bell.
Yeah, the more offensive one.
So that building is offensive.
It's only once you step in there. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did. Oh, sorry, Danny. Go ahead.
I was gonna say there is some salty language all throughout the comic. Feels very.
They're really good at capturing. Like everybody was a dick back in the day. Like
fuck yes.
There was no like mental health awareness, anything like all that stuff that from today was unexistent back then. Like it just you couldn't do it, and if you did it, you were made fun of.
Yeah.
Like so.
This is the time period where you get all the things that you have to go to therapy for.
Yeah,
so this 100%. Is the time period where you're dealing with the peer pressure, like him trying to be in part of that skate group because he sees kids with a skateboard. That's not always true, because like if you didn't write as well, they would shit on you, you know. And so it wasn't as, you know, like as nice as they say in the comic, where it's like, well, you would get, well, I guess he says it in the back, because I think Rick or Brian talks about it in the back, where, you know, it was also kind of a competition, like who could do this trick, and you kind of supported each other. I did have a group of skater kids that I did get that vibe from, but a lot of the time you would just get like hate. Like if you wrecked bad, I mean, you probably would get more cheers than if you did a good stunt from these people.
It's like, you know how like you'll go to a comment section, you'll see somebody say just whatever, and you're like, you would never say that to somebody's face, and they're like,
that was the 80s.
The 80s, there would be at least one person who would, you know, like
All right, let's talk a little bit about the art before I love hearing about your stories, but
perfect.
The art is great, and it really reminded me of Jamie Hewlett. Like I loved it.
See, I got a Jamie Hewlett, Jack Davis from Mad, like that kind of.
Oh yeah, I can see that too. Yeah,
I think it captured really well the spirit of what Sacramento looked like in the 80s too. Like it just, even with the colors, like it just really, it feels like, to me, I got a vibes of like those 80s coming of age movies, right? Like like I could kind of hear, even with the song here playing, or when they put on Rush on the truck with the grandpa, which cool grandpa that let him, you know, not every grandpa will let you just put whatever you wanted on the radio.
No. When the grandpa's like, you ever seen a old lady fill her panties before?
Yeah.
Like everybody then was really pieces of shit. I mean, it's just really that kind of atmosphere of the 80s. You got that from a lot of the parents that were like, you see the dad driving the vet, who's obviously divorced, going through midlife crisis. You have all these parents who are wanting to do their own thing, and so at times they're like wanting to be like cool and talk to the kids and hang out. Because I remember when I was in high school, I worked in a sporting goods store, and the guys there had a softball team. They would always invite us over to their house to like drink and smoke weed, which was weird, you know, because we were like 16 and 17.
Speaking of, here's the guy in the car. He's token up.
Yeah.
And then I love that
is Stranger Things. Take out the horror aspect, and you've definitely got a feel for the Stranger Things kind of early 80s.
And this is also a junior high, right? He goes to junior high now. I don't know if these kids also go there, or they're like from the high school that's close by. but they definitely look like in the 80s. You know how like all 30-year-olds played the teams, like especially the bullies, which is funny because now in Stranger Things, like most of those kids are not kids anymore. They're old. They're old now, so they're still gonna be playing like teenagers. So I think it really captured it. I love this panel. I mean, this page with the 9 panels of the school day.
Yeah,
like from bell to bell. You know, going through the 7 periods, which I think that was usual. I think it was about 7 periods that we go through in school. So yeah,
I think, granted, the story is perfect because I love those two minds working together, but this art captures everything of that time period. It is like without the story, everything in this is drawn to what I can remember that time period like, or get that vibe from, especially from like California.
Yeah. All right. So before we close out this review, I wanted to do something kind of fun that we've never tried, and we'll see how it goes. What better time to experiment than when we are live on the show? So at the end of the sorry, Jeff, you were saying something?
I said we'll do it live.
Oh yeah, thank you. At the end of the comic, you get to read the after page. Now I didn't read it. These guys did. They were talking about it. Listen, I don't have time. There's not enough time. I gotta go read other comics.
If they put a picture in there with the words, would it help?
Yeah, maybe. Probably so. Distill this paragraph down to an image.
If they put it in a little Pokemon card pack, would you have pulled it out? And
yeah. So at the end, they also have an email address where you can send them thoughts about your email. So send thoughts about that. Obviously, I'm going to probably send the link to this video to the team so they can watch it. But I wanted to type out an email. So, we'll don't worry about the intro. I'll write that. Dear Mr. Rick Remender and company, what would you guys want to tell them? And I'll put who each one of them is from.
Fuck, I don't know. I mean, they captured the time period perfectly. Like they captured the mood, the look, the vibe, the attitude.
I'm not a secretary.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's just like flowing through my head of everything.
I'm not a stenographer.
This thing is going to be full of so many baby reindeer typos. Like it's just. I
mean, I'll spell check it before I send it. All right, so that's from Clay because we want them to use these as quotes on the trade.
Oh yeah.
Think of it like that.
I want to tell them thank you for shining a spotlight on the greatest generation.
Nope.
Gen X.
I'm gonna put the greatest generation.
And can you please help me figure out how to get better medical insurance for all the state injuries I have? Thank you. Love, Josh.
I just want to skate with Brian Posehn.
I know, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like with the way his voice is, he has just the best put down voice, right? Like smooth move, X-Lax, you know.
I definitely got to include an invite to come on the show.
That'd be awesome.
You got anything?
Yes.
If I had a pull quote, I would say perfectly encapsulates the mood of the 80s in the best way possible.
So I'm just gonna put what Clay said. Jeff's quote is ditto.
Ditto. Oh.
Perfect for old people.
Yes.
If you need a colonoscopy now, you'll love this book about your childhood.
My doctors have been calling me like crazy.
Kyle, you got anything?
Nah, I can't think of it off the top of my head at the moment.
Okay.
I got to
say rad.
Huh? No, gleaming the cube.
Oh, I was saying rad is an expression for the book.
Yeah.
If I was going to quote a movie, though, it'd be Thrashing. I'm sorry. Brolin over
Slater.
Oh.
Slater.
Over Slater.
It's just a better skate movie. Gleaming the Cube is real neo-noir. Oh, you never saw it?
Never saw Thrashing.
Community the Cube is good.
I have a copy.
Yeah, it's good.
Copy. It's awesome.
I saw it in the theater. Again, same sort of thing. Any popular media representation of skateboarding, if you were a skater, you were there. You're like, oh, this movie has skaters in it? I'm going to go.
Yeah, we watched Thrashing and Rad every day and then would go skate because we didn't have a local skate shop that had skate videos. So, so we were like skating in 85, what we saw from movies. That was it. And we would watch Thrashing every day.
All right. My line is going to be, someone get these kids a helmet and a responsible adult.
That would be what the millennials grew up with.
So, hey, some of those kids had help. I think so. There was 3 types of people at that skate park. The ones that looked like they knew what they were doing. They had helmets and knee pads and everything. There was the bullies that were just there posing with their skateboards, and then there were these guys that were just in there, but they didn't know what the hell was going on. They just wanted to skate. So that's what I saw. So don't tell me that no one was worried about safety. The guy that was upside down in the pipe, he had a helmet on and knee pads.
Nerds were worried about safety.
Typically, if you were going to ride a half pipe, you did wear a helmet and pads.
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes.
But I was a street skater, so I never rode ramps, so I never bothered putting on a helmet or pads. So
now you have a rock in your arm.
Clay,
it's out now, thankfully. But yeah.
Clay, somebody behind you, maybe they need something.
Oh, okay.
Turn around.
Show's behind you.
Yeah, I was always doing double loonies and triple lunts.
I'll be right back.
All right.
You can really just put 2 words together, and I guarantee it's a skate trick. So
whoa, a triple double. Let's go.
I did mini rickets.
I did a quadruple colonoscopy, and boy, my life was never the same.
All right, let's end this with just taking a look at those awesome covers. Thanks to Image for sending us out.
Thank you.
To the team. Image. Hopefully you get to see this video and you get to see our email. And you're welcome to come on the show whenever you want. Talk about skate culture with these guys, or I can tell you can tell me about all the responsible things you got to do in the 80s. So, all right, let's see.
Did anybody have like their parents have to call the cops to be like, I don't know where my kid is? Because my mom, like one time I was out riding my bike and my mom was like, and she called the cops, and I showed up like in between the time that she called the cops.
And they showed up.
What were the cops going to do? Like, man, we don't know where he is either. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, literally, yeah.
Has it been 24 hours yet?
Yeah.
I don't think it had. No.
No, I'm saying, they'll say, has he been missing for 24 hours?
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
It's crazy because it's like, they won't look for a kid until it's been 24 hours. But then that show 48 Hours says that after 48 hours, the case is probably not going to get solved. So they really are cutting it very close with the 24 to 48 hour window to like, oh shit, we're going to find this kid.
Right, exactly. That's the sweet spot.
Let me show you guys. These are some of the variant covers. I love the 7 Heaven in the background.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I would have absolutely bought that one in the middle, but my shop didn't have it. I do like the one on the right too.
Oh yeah, I like all these. There's a lot more. These are my favorites. That's why I picked them for this. So, alrighty then. While Clay gets back, let's talk about some other stuff, other comics, other TV show, whatever. I don't know. Let's start with you, Jeff. We'll start down there, and then we'll go to Kyle since he's been absent for a little while. I'm sure he's read a few comics.
You do comics or TV first?
Let's do comics because I don't know how long we're gonna have.
Okay.
And then if we have time, we'll go to TV and other stuff.
Things I read this week are Birds of Prey number 10. Love this comic. I love Barda in this comic. I didn't think I would like. I'm not super familiar with Big Barda. I've read her in the Tom King, Mr. Miracle stuff, just a few places here and there. But I think this is my favorite interpretation where she kind of refers to herself in the third person and just says weird, random, funny things.
She's great.
I watched the second issue of The Boy Wonder from Junie Ba. This thing is I love the the cartooning. This one has a secret kind of dark, super dark tone because this one deals with Jason Todd.
Oh,
So it's Damian and Jason Todd, and I guess canonically it takes place just after Jason Todd comes back from being dead. So he's got all kinds of. It really delves deep into his trauma from dying and his relationship with Batman, and then Damian's relationship with Batman, because they're both kind of hotheads and have known to kill.
What?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like my boys.
I mean, it's comics, so it's probably nothing counts. Batman versus Batman and Batman 148, 2 fonts, 1 Batman. I've been enjoying this, but this ends really abruptly. I feel like I feel like I need at least one full issue of denouement for this storyline, because this thing is just like. But I know spoilers. Android Batman goes on to. I mean, DC's already spoiled it, but like, be part of Amanda Waller's new evil trinity. But this is this feels like pretty abrupt in its ending.
I thought the twist for Robin, his new Robin, was interesting.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I also, and like I said, big spoilers for this, but he killed Jason Todd for like 3 pages.
Again,
he comes right back. I mean, this is kind of what I was waiting for, though, because in the last issue, like, Batman, Bruce Wayne's ready to go. Like, he's set up everything, right? Like, that's how the last issue ends.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect them to drag this out much, and So I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I'm loving this story, and I can't wait to see what the hell Absolute Power is gonna do.
Yeah. I am looking forward to Absolute Power. From 2 weeks ago, Penguin. Number 10. I don't know if anybody's reading this, but this is heck of a mobster story.
2 more left, and then I can read it.
It's great. It's Penguin is brutal. It's a Penguin versus his kids for control of Gotham.
So.
It's Tom King, and it's just like a super awesome mob story, like where these 2 families are going at it, but they also have to be part of the same thing. Scarlet number 1. Great.
That was
another great fold in the Energon universe stuff. I like that she.
I really wish my store had gotten this cover, though.
That's a nice one.
Steve Epting, yeah.
I like how the Energon universe has not been afraid to be violent, like killing is whatever, like, but she is like, I'm not going to kill you, or whatever. Like she seems to. End of the.
Hold on. Before we move on to Scarlet, I guess Kyle, Josh, you guys also read that, right? Any thoughts on it?
Yeah. I thought it was, especially with all the other characters they had in there. Like, she goes on a mission, runs into Jinx, and then she goes on this whole thing of where she goes to the Hardmaster, and the end of it, like they're bringing a lot. They're bringing the whole Ninja Clan, not Ascani, but whatever. I can't remember the.
It's very similar to Ascani. Whatever the word is, it's very similar.
Yeah. But
Storm Shadow.
Yeah. So I didn't know anything about Scarlet, so that was all very surprising, and I was like, "Oh, very cool!" Like, I don't know if this is usually how her story goes, or if it's not, then I really like that they're going this way. So.
What I'm curious about is because depending on what comic book, what cartoon you read, she's had 2 different love interests. If you're going by the Marvel comic books, it's been Snake Eyes. If you're going by the G1 Hasbro cartoon series, it's been Duke. By another movie they did, Resolute, it was there was rumor that she was involved with both of them. So I'm kind of curious where they're going to send her in this one.
I knew for a fact that they had never been Jinx that she had been involved with. So
yeah, I was trying to parse that because she refers to her as like a sister, but I was like, this feels like more than
no. I also
in the
got
Marvel
that
comic book. They hint the fact she's had ninja training. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so her knowing Jinx and having martial arts training background with her in this one, it makes sense.
No. I meant more as like lovers.
Oh.
I really liked it. I think the thing I'm enjoying most is as they are building up the G.I. Joe team, it's very clear that it's not an elite company authorized by the government. It is instead all those that do not fit in well with regulation and bureaucracy. And they're like, you know what? You go over here. I dig that as a kind of like concept.
And the fact that they're building 2 separate teams instead of 1.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I like how that Cobra is coming together like that also. Like it's just these desperate interests that are coming together.
Oh, I can't wait to read that Destro book.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah.
The last issue of Cobra Commander. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So is the plan, because I know there's like a completely separate G.I. Joe series now.
That's continuing the old stuff, I think.
Right. Yeah. Are they going to end that and do a new G.I. Joe series as part of the Energon universe?
I think so. Or maybe they'll keep it going and still do a new. I think they're definitely doing it. Yeah, Joe. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's Hama writing it.
Yeah. So, all right. Sorry, Jeff. Continue.
No worries. X-Men 35/700.
If your comic book cover doesn't fold out, does it even matter?
Not at all.
All is good riddance, Krakoa.
Yeah, I agree. But this, I'm glad they got some old artists back. That's cool. I don't know if I'm good riddance Krakoa, but
right there, Daniels.
Yeah, I love this page.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh, you want me to put 10 years or 5 years? Yeah, whatever. How many years of X-Men in 9 panels? You got it.
There it is. Super. I don't know if it's super confusing or just kind of dumb, but it did end. So I enjoyed where Krakoa went. I don't like how. I mean, I feel like at the end of it they reset it back to how everything was prior to Krakoa, but I just don't know how you go back. Like I don't know how you put that genie back in a bottle.
Yeah.
They try to explain it in the comic, but I'm just like, but everybody's just like, oh, we could still do the cure for cancer. We just choose not to because editorial or whatever, like,
hey, they didn't want the gift. The humans, plus humans don't trust them anymore. So like, why would can you imagine, like, even if they've explained that it was all Orcus's fault, there's still gonna be people that are like, conspiracy bullshit, blah blah blah. No, the X-Men, they want to poison us and the Earth's flat or whatever. So like, sorry, like, yeah, that's it. Just not. It would never work. But there's some really cool art in this book. Like just fucking
cool art.
They just
everything is just such a hard left turn where Apocalypse is like, I've been together with you guys for the last 10 years. You know what? Going back to being a bad guy on a dime. But Nightcrawler, I won't go into spoilers because I know Clay wants to read it.
Yeah,
Nightcrawler does some of the most baller shit ever in this book. Like
that's true too.
You'll see it.
Yeah, I mean it's cool.
He is who he is.
You'll see it when you read it.
And I don't understand the White Hot Room or the mutants that were stuck in there for just 15 years. Is that what they said? 15 years? Because they came out acting like they'd been there for generations. I was like, was it just 15 years? Because that's not that long ago. Like, some of them have developed new languages, and I was like, in 15 years, I don't. Ultimate's number one.
They were developing a religion. Nightcrawler was looking at a religion for them.
And no one told me how to say Apocalypse's name in Krakoan, and I'm very upset. And then we'll just end with the 2 Ultimate Spider-Man 5 and Ultimates 1. Good stuff from them. I like Ultimates 1 a lot.
Yeah,
I did too. But poor Hank Pym never catches a break. He's a bum. He's a bum. All Hanks in the Marvel Universe are bad. If you meet a Hank from the Marvel Universe, just stay away.
Right, exactly.
Go by Henry.
Beast isn't bad. He's a good guy.
Again. You haven't read Gary Duggan's X-Force. Benjamin Percy's X-Force.
Isn't in X-Men Forever the Jason Aaron run Iron Man in that story Hank Pym, a Hank Pym alternate universe Hank Pym? Avengers Forever. Did you guys read this?
Yeah,
I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
He's like the worst Iron Man ever, and like his whole world is destroyed. But
well, I mean, it's like
him.
in Heroes Reborn, the fucking Avengers, when Hawkeye is actually Wolverine.
Heroes Reborn, you lost me.
Yeah, but when you had that run, when you're trying to find who is Hawkeye, and you find out he's actually Wolverine from that universe. So it's just kind of like
that don't make no goddamn sense. All right, was that it, Jeff?
That's all I got.
All right, Kyle, you want to go through your comics real quick? We'll just go around.
Hang on. So X-Men 35, we're talking about that. Ultimate number 1, Space Ghost number 2. I read that's continuing. I think a really fun run because it finally gets Jason Jan into the costume, and it's like it all takes place on Ghost World, and Space Ghost is taking out this asteroid storm, but then Jace goes out to try and decides to do a kind of run with the ghost ship, and then ends up getting like this electrical monster after both of them. So it felt like just watching the old 60s cartoon a little bit, just kind of origin based. Nice. And I think, and they also have a early story from Johnny Quest in there.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah,
nice. I know they're doing Chitara soon. The series.
Scarlet number 1 read. Also read the most recent Amazing Spider-Man number 51, but I'm going to hold off and talk about more of a story because in this one they had issue 50, and then in this one basically Spider-Man has been infected by the evil possession of this Green Goblin, and now he's the Green Goblin Spider-Man taking out the Sinister Six. Yeah, which I'm like, I want to wait till the story finishes out before I kind of talk about this one. Also, wanted to throw these out. Picked up a few new toys.
Oh, nice spider vest.
Yeah, so it's Jack Kirby. I had to get that, and then I just randomly found this. They only seem like 1 per 10 targets, but Samurai Usagi.
Oh wow!
Ooh, cool. Wow. I love those. They have so much detail.
I know.
That's sweet.
I was able to find those in the last couple weeks of Target. I walk in to pick like this actual like stuff I need, and I go buy the toy, and then boom, they're there. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Out of the way, child.
Yeah. Well, basically, that's mine.
Let me go through some of the comics I talked about. I know Clay's gonna talk about this, so I'll hold off on that. But I do want to show. This is my Helverine cover.
Oh, boil.
And then Clay's gonna talk about this as well, so I'll just wait till that. The wedding issue. It's a thick one. You kill a small group of ants with this one. Picked up. This is the last of the Fall of the House of X, which whatever. If you didn't read it, just go read X-Men.
I read that one.
Yeah. So Rise was very confusing. Fall was, I think it was easier. This is the one with the white hot room and this big entity, and I don't know what the fuck Kieran Gillen was on, but I loved it. I love the art. So. This finally finished. Avengers Twilight. Really good.
I love the first part. I'm almost finished with the second part, but like it doesn't seem to stay. The first 3 seem great. The last few.
I enjoyed it all the way through. So
okay.
A little preachy. It's a little preach.
Yes. I did read this.
This also finished.
Oh, that's cool.
Mighty Morphin The Return. Written by the Pink Ranger, Amy Jo Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
That's also finished, so you can probably pick it up. The last issue of Wolverine. This is also a thick one. If you want bloody shit, like, man, they deliver.
I like my shits just ordinary.
Not blood in your stool, but just like, look at this shit. Yeah,
is that Benjamin Percy writing that?
Yes, and Victor Lavalle. They're co-writing it.
How does that get just like they're doing the blood hunt bagged stuff where it's supposed to be super bloody, and I'm just like meh, and then that gets in just a normal Wolverine. Like
I'll say the blood hunt one was not my favorite thing. It's not. This is the DC Pride from last week.
Oh, that's cool.
I picked up the foil cover because I like shiny stuff.
Always Superman with the foil covers.
My Adventures with Superman, which I would have taken to the con. If you like the animated series, you're gonna really enjoy this. And if you're not watching the animated series, what's wrong with you?
I don't have enough time.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm getting ever closer to death, Danny. I can't get to everything.
We already talked about those. The last one TMNT Alpha. This is the first one written by Jason Aaron, who is here at Fan Expo. And
I know. I'm so bummed I'm not going to go see him, but it's Fan Expo.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
I love that Donnie's at the forefront because Donnie's like my favorite turtle. So I didn't read the backup story. That one's more about everyone else in the universe, and I don't have time for this giant cat.
I'm currently working on an old TMNT to make him into a black and white TMNT.
Did you read the end of the last run?
No, I just started fresh with this.
Okay. So I did pick up that issue too, and I just I don't know if it ended with them like splitting up or something like that. I don't know.
They got fired. Splinter's like, I've had enough. You're fired.
You're eating me out of house and home.
Right. We were bought out by.
I already live in the sewer.
The TMNT were bought out by a private equity, and they're selling everything for parts. So
they closed down with the Alamo
and Red Lobster.
That's sad news. God.
Well, Clay, speaking of that, let's move on to you. Tell us about comics, and if you want to tell us a little bit about Alamo.
Wolverine, Benjamin Percy. This is just a fucking fun book. I mean, this is like, let's just take some wild ass powers, throw them together, and some demons, and put Wolverine and Ghost Rider together.
If you wanna know how that came about, you got to read their crossover, Weapons of Vengeance. And then it'll make more. They explain it very well, I think, as much as they can in a couple of pages. But if you go back and read, it's only 4 issues.
Yeah, it explains it dark enough that you'll get the order, because it's super evil and
it's a really fun reveal too at the end. So I won't spoil it.
Uncanny Valley 2. I was able to get caught up on this. This is a fun book. I mean, Tony Flex is doing great stuff, and this kind of crossover with the real world and the animation world and how it exists is kind of told in this issue. But as this kid has discovered, his half of his family are cartoons, and he's met his grandfather in this episode or in this issue. So
the bottom half, what makes it weird.
I finished Beware the Planet of the Apes run.
Yeah.
So good. Who is this? Mark Guggenheim wrote this. This takes place before the very first movie. So this introduces elements from the other movie. So you have the apes from Ape City that you know in the first movie, Caesar and Zera, and their nephew, who's only like in the movie for like maybe 10 minutes at the end, go into the negative zone and find other human mutants that exist that are only partly, destroyed faces, unlike the mutants we see in Beneath the Planet of the Apes. And they also speak English, so they get around. They seem to have had a fort and had held up pretty well in the negative zone. And it just takes on and adds more to the mythology. That's the coolest part of it, is everything kind of leads up to where the first movie is in this. So it gives you a little bit of backstory in the Marvel universe, that there's more humans left, and there's not just like Ape City where it's a bunch of apes living together. There was like another gorilla city that has taken in certain, I forget what were the kind of monkeys that they enslaved?
It's not the orangutans.
Yeah, right? No, it's like the smallest.
Yeah, shit.
Kind of the perform.
Yeah, Capuchin.
Yeah, Capuchin. Okay. Yeah, so they
like Yorick in Y.
In Y,
or not Yorick.
Or
Ampersand.
Or Annie's boobs.
Annie's boobs. Yeah.
Annie's boobs.
So you bring together this great big battle at the end with these tiny monkeys, these mutant humans, and these giant gorillas. And the mutants have like a cool mental power where they can block. They can like block the minds of the gorillas, and they like walk into their city. Like they have more powers and stuff. It does add more to the mythology of Planet of the Apes, so that's the fun part of it. You didn't like Blood Hunt. I got the Peach Momoko, Scarlet Witch, and Vision covers. What do you not like about Blood Hunt?
Wait, who doesn't? No, he doesn't like Wolverine Blood Hunt.
Oh, Wolverine Blood Hunt.
Oh, I mean, yeah. No, I don't like Wolverine Blood Hunt. That's the bad tie-in. I love the main series.
The main series is fun.
It's
I absolutely love it. But this is my book of the week. This I absolutely love this book. It is just so much fun. It even gives you, it reprints the original story that this was kind of pulled from in X Factor. I think it's X Factor Annual 6, where where Mystique is getting rid of the ashes of Irene, Destiny. And it's a great story by Peter David that gets a reprint in the back, because I was like, I'm going to go look for my issue because I don't remember some of what's tying it to it, but it's in this and it's worth it. So it's a $10 book, though.
Yeah.
You got 5 stories in it, though. You got the reprint of the X Factor Annual 6, and then you got 4 new ones that are all kind of centered around this marriage, which is pretty great. I do love it.
Different guests that are coming to the wedding.
Different guests, exactly.
And then there's a really fun bookending story about the wedding itself that just, it's really fun, like shenanigans. So I really
shenanigans.
Shenanigans. All right, Josh.
Yes, I read very little that you guys read. I'm continuing to read Batman Dark Age. I can't believe none of you bastards are reading this.
I will once it's
completed in my library.
I learned from Space Age that it's better once I get to the whole thing at once.
I kind of get that, and I have to say I'm a little pissed that this is a floppy format, whereas Space Age was the bound format. So I can't have them together on the shelf.
Inflation, baby.
Well, it probably means I'm just gonna have to buy them all collected, which. Yeah. I am DC's greatest customer.
I don't know. Have you seen those foil covers he has?
Yeah.
Get in line, buddy.
I will never be as good as Danny. Let's put it that way. This is really great, though. And again, it has... I don't want to spoil anything. There's actually a panel in here I want to share with you guys, but it's kind of a spoiler. So I didn't...
I'll forget by the time we...
I'll
forget.
So this ties into Space Age.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And the way that it does it is the person who is basically spearheading the takeover of Wayne Industries. I'm trying to find the panel now.
Natural Lord.
No.
Pariah.
Right? Yeah.
And he's all suited up.
But I just love this first panel.
That is a dope suit that he's wearing, though.
Yeah, it is. This first panel, he's in a board meeting, and all the board members are talking about I'm worried about dog food sales, and one guy's like, "Is there a way to get dogs to eat more?" And then it goes to him, and he just says, "You're all just momentary fragments of consciousness wasted on the vastness of time."
I bet he only uses corporate lingo.
Yeah.
No, he does. He actually talks like it's. I don't know. It's great. It's really good. I'm really intrigued to see where it's going. There's a subplot where the whole book is taking place in the past, and so a subplot is the present with Bruce Wayne as an old man. I don't know. Allred and Russell are just killing it in this series, and I'm kind of glad to see that it's continuing in its own way. Another book that I kind of sat on for a few weeks.
Don't sit on your comic book. They're gonna ban and
I don't care. I'll be honest. I don't know if I like this or not, but it is fun nonetheless. This is Tim Lane's Mythologies and Apocrypha, issue number 1. This is from Fantagraphics. Anyone else read this? It is. I can't really tell where it's going, but basically, it is a fictional account of a team up between Frank Sinatra and Steve McQueen, and it just all the art in it is just very kind of Fantagraphics. I won't show that. It might, so. Fake ads for a Steve McQueen action figure. My favorite, though, is at the back. There is this great kind of nod to Chris Ware. So I don't know. It's very much a kind of Fantagraphics jam where you're reading all of it and you're like, I have no fucking clue what's going on or if I should, but it's fun. So
you're saying Fantagraphic. I heard something else.
Sorry, Jeff. Go ahead.
I said I have that book. It's a cool book. Yeah.
All right, cool.
And I have this other, like Happy Fun Time in America. I think is another book that guy's done.
Oh, see,
I have a couple of those. Yeah.
Else be done. So okay.
Yeah.
I am continuing to read Under Heist, and as a big Dave Lapham fan, this book has just gone off the fucking rails. Like, if you read the first issue and you're expecting another kind of neo-noir crime story, that's what the first issue is. This is now full-on horror with supernatural elements, and I'm like, I have no clue what's going on, and I am here for it. It's great. So, yeah.
Cool.
Under Heist is good. I've been reading some facsimile stuff, continuing to read Secret Wars. It's very... Jim Shooter should never have written women. I think that is my takeaway from this. This issue opens up with Wasp crashing an alien ship and then complaining that she broke a nail. Exactly. It's the exact face I made.
Some people would say he never wrote women.
Yeah. And speaking of horrible Jim Shooter treating women things, I read Avengers Annual number 10 facsimile edition.
That is Claremont, though.
No, it is. And we had a long discussion in the Discord about this because this is Claremont at the end of it cleaning up Jim Shooter's horrible treatment of Captain Marvel. I mean, just awful. And it is such an amazing rebuke. I really, I never read this before, go pick up this issue, read it for the awesome Spider-Woman stuff in it. She's really great in it. Read it for the Avengers stuff. There's a ton, because this is Chris Claremont writing. So it's basically an X-Men issue with the Avengers as like special guests. But just go for the final, oh man, it is whew, starting on this page, which is undercut by the fact they're all in bikinis. I do want to point that out. But starting with this page, the last few pages of this issue are just Claremont tearing Jim Shooter and whoever wrote that original, because he was this editor in chief at the time, tearing them a new asshole for how horrible a job they did.
Yeah, that's the one that's always brought up about her character. It's like the worst moment of her entire run. But Claremont then takes Ms. Marvel and pulls out half of her personality and puts it in Rogue.
Yeah,
that's why I've always had that annual, and then it's become the basis of Rogue's character that no one has played with other than Claremont.
Right,
she was a staple in Rogue's head that made her kind of crazy.
Yeah, this is Rogue's first appearance.
Is that the reason she got a mullet?
Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, it's a really good issue. I have often had problems with Mike Golden's art because his eyes are like this big, especially on women. But he is just reveling in this issue. He loves drawing all this action and buildings crumbling, and it's good. It's worth it. Nice. Just a couple more. Guys, I don't know if I can fucking do this anymore. Love Everlasting, issue 15. I went in thinking this was the last issue, and this is like the midway point. And I just don't know if I can. It's such a cool conceit, but I don't think I can do this anymore. I'm sorry. I love Tom King. I love Elsa Chaterier, but I feel like
it should have been 12 issues.
It should have been 12 issues, and that's kind of what I expected when it was a Tom King jam. And this is just getting drawn out so far that I kind of don't care anymore. And I hate to say that because I love this team, but I just don't know if I can do it.
I dropped that after I think 8 issues.
Yeah, I wouldn't, and I was going to, and then issue 9 was the one that finally added this, like, if I'm recalling correctly, added this moment where it seemed like, oh, they're moving ahead. I'll stick with it. This issue kind of does the same thing, but I'm just gonna have to drop, and I hate that because it's such a cool idea. So anyway,
I'll keep. I mean, we'll keep getting the review copy, so maybe I can convince you to read the next trade.
Yeah, no, I mean, I will. You know, I'm happy to do that. I have 2 more. My very last one I will save for my recommendation. But did anyone else read Profane?
I haven't yet, but it's on my iPad loaded up.
Okay, I won't spoil anything, but I will say what drew me to this is it's written by Peter Milligan. And all I'll say is it is Peter Milligan doing a crime noir book, but it's Peter Milligan.
Yeah. Now, and I always refer to Shade the Changing Man as the greatest Peter Milligan run.
Yes. I'm a huge fan. Oh, and I just blanked on it. What's the superhero book he did that was very much it was one of the earliest, like, very much sort of like gay iconic. Jesus Christ! It's
Enigma.
Enigma. Thank you. I love Enigma. Like, to me, that's peak Peter Milligan. But this is great. So again, I won't spoil anything, but I'll just say this: go into it with just an open mind. He races through shit in this issue. Like, by the end of it, I was like, how much stuff happened in this? My God. Like, you know, and so just kind of like go in like empty-headed, just ready to like experience it. So
I'm always empty-headed.
Anyway, that's what I've been reading.
All right. Let's do real quick. We're just going to go through some of the stuff we watched very quickly. Oh, yeah. And I'm talking quickly. Jeff, we'll start with you.
Mostly I watched, it was a rough work week, so I had to go to my comfort TV shows and stuff. So I watched some old Smallville. I watched some old Adventures of Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman. That's kind of hard to, it can be a little bit difficult to watch only because it's a little bit older. And you assume that Dean Cain as Superman likes to burn books with his heat vision instead of, you know, whatever else. I will say, I wrote his name in the comments. I mean, hold on. Elaine Smith as Perry White is just like, that is stuck with me my entire life. And so for me, I'm just like, I love this Perry White. The Smallville episode that I watched had I can't remember her name, the girl that played Robin in How I Met Your Mother. Colby Smulders. I think she was like, before she was famous, she was just like,
Maria Hill was in the DC universe. What?
I want to say that I'm pretty sure she was in this episode. She sleeps with Lex Luthor right off the bat, and then she dies. But they make such a big deal out of Lex Luthor having a one-night stand that I'm just like, oh yes, the mid 2000s. We were very uppity about our sexuality. And like, there's this weird part where like Clark comes and he's like, Lex, how could you kiss a girl or whatever? Like, and Lex Luthor is just like, yeah, Clark, I've had sex before. Like, it's an interesting chaste episode.
Yeah, she was in it. All right, interesting. Nice.
Yeah. And then I watched the Dick Tracy movie again.
You watched what?
The Dick Tracy movie.
That's so good. Yeah, that's great.
I'm gonna need you to cut that out, Jeff. You're watching it too much.
Listen, you're Pacino in that outfit. Like, when you're watching that movie and you're realizing these are some of the greatest actors, and they're just encased in makeup, just doing over the top performances and these bold colors. Like, I love that movie. It is so wonky.
Yeah. It is great.
All right.
And there's a great Patrick Willems YouTube video on it too, as well.
Love his channel.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kyle, what did you watch?
Well, before I bring up the one I really want to find out from you guys, so me being the police procedural lover, I started watching SWAT with Shemar Moore from Criminal Minds.
Based on the famous movie with Colin Farrell.
It was based on the show.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, really?
SWAT was a TV show in the 70s that went.
That's right. That's right.
I love the movie. That's why I brought it up. But I do know based on
art might star in that show is sorry, go ahead.
No,
I was gonna say you guys know I'm a rascal.
Yeah, and I'm on that. And then basically I watched the first two episodes of The Acolyte.
What'd you think?
Oh, yes, I did watch.
I liked it. I liked it.
Everybody else watch The Acolyte? Clay?
I haven't had a chance yet.
What I like about
it's just really weird. You have these two twins that have been separated at birth that look exactly alike. Like it hasn't been done in comics or movies before.
Yeah. Have you ever watched Sister Sister? Hello.
They grew up together. These are supposed to be separated.
No, they didn't.
Parent Trap.
Wait, the Parent Trap?
Sister, they didn't grow up together either.
They didn't?
No, they found each other at the mall one day when they were teenagers.
Or at camp.
Oh, I always thought the impression was it was like Double Trouble and they were sisters. And it was just about them growing up.
No. The creators
now you've taken that show to a whole nother level.
Now you like The Acolyte. Excellent.
How about Double Impact and Van Damme? I mean,
but the thing is you're telling you've got this Star Wars world. You're telling stories in a Star Wars world. But you got to bring in something extra. There's got to be something, because you can't just go, okay, so this is a murder mystery in Star Wars. You know, like we need another element to kind of not.
They brought in martial arts. When have they ever done martial arts? Like
the fighting?
Straight up martial arts in Star Wars.
Yeah, in the first episode, we got Carrie-Ann Moss who dies, and then you're just like,
no. And then fighting. Did you watch both episodes?
Yeah,
there's a big fight in the second one too.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I just kind of thought of the first one, and then as she wasn't in the show anymore, I was like, okay, well, I guess we're just going to keep going with this.
No, I like it.
Yeah, and I like how fast paced. Not knocking. What was the other? Not
Andor.
Yeah, Andor. I mean, I get it. I haven't really watched it. It's supposed to be a good series, but it just takes.
It is.
This one, it's fast,
but it's very political.
Yeah, but sometimes, like this past week, like as Jeff was saying, the last couple of weeks have been kind of crazy. So I want something kind of fast paced that's not going to keep dredging me to have to, go through. I want something I can watch and enjoy and be done with. And that's what.
But Andor, what Andor did was it's a spy thriller, but it gives Star Wars a whole cool different aesthetic. It gives it pulls in like incredible actors. Like there's more elements of that kind of lift that up than the first two of these. Now again, it's just the first two, and I'm curious to see where it goes. But right now, I'm just kind of like, oh, it's a Star Wars crime thriller.
I'm also I like the new guy they have, the guy from Squid Games, apparently.
Yeah, Master Soul.
Yeah, the fact that man learned English in 4 months for the role.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, that's cool.
Fuck
yeah.
Yep. Okay. Which they didn't even have to do, right? He could have just spoken a different language.
Yeah, exactly.
He could have just spoken Korean on the show. They're aliens.
Leonard Kim dropped that comic. Pull Leonard Kim's comic because I want to know what he thinks is new in the Acolyte, because it's basically in the same world. Like, would we see the cool thing about Andor was the transition of power from Empire to the Rebels. They talked about it, like these people had worked for them for a long time. You think they're just going to change alliances like that? I mean, like there was concepts in there that were a lot deeper than they are in the show. But again, that was the whole episode. But the aesthetics, they brought in looks from different places that were very cool. Like I'm judging this on 2 episodes. I'm going to watch the whole thing.
Andor mainly has humanoid creatures, which I'm fine with. I don't think that's what the show was about, but this show has a lot more different looking.
But they also
we've been to 4 locations, really.
Yeah, 4.
I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, we got to go to a Hoth planet. We got to go to a
I mean, how many environments?
An alien bar we've never seen before.
How many environments are there really? Like, there's only you can name 5 climates, so that's about it.
Well, that's why Andor did it better.
That was it. In the 3rd episode, we get us a Wookiee Jedi.
That was what was hyped, because Joby goes, tell me about it, and I'll tell you what I'm interested in. And I got to the Wookiee, and she goes, "Okay, that's interesting." And I was like, "Well, it took 2 episodes to get to."
We'll revisit the Acolyte, I think, once it's done and everybody gets to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Kyle? Anything quicker than this last conversation? Okay, cool.
I think that's it.
Let me run through a couple of things real quick. So I watched Bad Boys Ride or Die. I watched that at the theater yesterday. You can go check out my review. If you like the other one, you're gonna like this one. If you don't like the third one, you're probably not gonna like this one. Simple as that. I watched a new film on HBO Max called Am I Okay? Starring Dakota Johnson, our favorite Madam Web, which was really great. I really enjoyed the film. And also watch on Max Movie Pass Movie Crash. It's a documentary about the Movie Pass. It's really interesting. As somebody that likes going to the movies and never had Movie Pass, there's a lot of interesting information in there. So
I had a friend who bought a Movie Pass and just
I had a couple of friends because we love going to the movies, so but it's a very interesting story. And then the last thing I did watch a couple weeks last weekend, Haikyuu the Dumpster Battle, which was one of the movies that I picked for our draft.
That's right.
I want to give you guys an update. Domestically, we are sitting at 4.9 million.
Wow.
So we'll start keeping tally of that. It's not as high as
the first movie to come out.
This is the first movie of our stuff that to come. I mean, nobody picked Bad Boys, so you guys are missing out on that sweet. It made more than they were expecting in the opening night. So people love Will Smith and Martin Lawrence working together.
Did anybody see that Hot
Chris
Wings
Rock
episode with him?
I haven't yet. It's on my queue. I love Hot Ones.
It was I don't know how I feel about it.
Okay.
It's a little cringy. It's a little cringy, but I mean they never get into the slap. And so like the whole time you're kind of watching, waiting, because you would think that I'm sure it's contractually whatever.
Yeah.
But I would think that Sean Evans would be like the first thing right off the bat. He's like, "We got to talk about it, Will."
They screen all the questions. I mean,
100%. But
very
it just felt
interesting.
Very corporatized because of
very interesting that now we live in a world where in the media press you have to go eat hot wings on a YouTube show to promote your film.
It's the best interview show out there.
It's really good.
Nominated for an Emmy, I think.
Yeah.
It was nominated for,
Did you guys see the conspiracy theory that Conan O'Brien used the wax in his mouth trick from The Simpsons to go on there? I don't think he actually did, but there was some great conspiracy theories about it.
I need a good thing to throw in TV-wise. And this is a quick wrestling moment for you, Daniel, and you, Jeff. Your guys, the news of Ethan Page jumping to NXT this past week.
I saw that. All Ego. Yeah, I don't watch NXT,
really?
But I do keep up with the news. So
yeah, but he also posted a lot of it on Instagram talking about how now it's telling the guys now it's up to you guys give me something, and so we kind of interesting.
Yeah, we didn't do a wrestling minute this week, but okay, cool.
Sorry.
All right, Clay, very quickly.
Okay, scored a copy of TMNT on VHS. We got to watch it on our VHS player. It was very rough looking, but it was still a great watch. I scored another VCR. I have a TV VCR that I scored yesterday. Donnie Darko, watched it last night with The Last Drive-In. Still fucking great. I've come to the conclusion that Donnie Darko is the millennial version of Better Off Dead, with no jokes and no romantic ending. That's it. South Park, the new South Park episode is hilarious. It's about Ozempic.
Yeah.
And if you're rich enough, you take Ozempic, and if you're poor, you have to take Lizzo, which is just body positivity. We watched a lesbian road trip movie called Drive Away Dolls, which is about.
I saw this.
Yeah.
Is that the Coen?
Coen Brothers movie?
Yeah.
Coen Brother.
I don't know if
movie?
it's both of them, but
it's just the one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty funny, but I mean, it's you've kind of seen it, but you haven't, because they bring you into this world of like lesbian antics, which is wild, because they do open the movie with a pretty hardcore lesbian scene. And then later they have a thing where they have basement parties where this college soccer team goes, and they just rotate partners all night long. That's the thing. And I was like, holy shit, wow. Anyhow, it's a pretty good movie. The only problem I have with it, the girl who is the lead plays it with a Texas accent that I've never heard in my fucking life. Like, I don't know what that Texas accent was, but it was from a cartoon. But the movie I really want to talk about is called Family. It's a movie about an aunt who has to take care of her niece who has become a juggalo. And you'll see it in the poster. It's called Family, and it's pretty great. I had a great time with it. It's just a fun, weird movie.
All right. As always, Clay bringing the heat.
Family. With juggalos.
Well,
right, Josh, I know you got to drop in a minute.
On the list. I have actually watched a few things. So we watched Unfrosted, which is the Pop-Tart movie.
Oh yeah,
it's fine. I mean, it's a comedy. I think,
is that the Jerry Seinfeld thing?
Yeah.
Hazel and I liked it a lot more because it's not quite like Zaz level airplane humor, but it's very, very, very kind of tongue in cheek. So it's good if you just want kind of like just a mindless kind of comfort comedy watch. Unfrosted is great.
I'm just glad Jerry Seinfeld's bringing manliness back to comedy.
I won't say probably the best thing about it is re-entered into the nomenclature using the word dingus, which I quite like.
I use dingus all the time.
Well, I need to be around you more then because I don't. So watch that. I keep clicking on the wrong thing to see my list. We wrapped up Hacks season 1, which, my God, that show is just so good. It's so good.
Which one?
Do not Hacks on Max. It stars
Jean Smart.
her name, Jean
Smart.
Jean Smart. Thank you. And it's fantastic. It's really, really great. We wanted to start watching Animal Control because we just kind of need like a workplace comedy in our life. Weirdly, Hulu. Yeah, I totally agree. Hulu weirdly only has season 2, so we've never seen season 1, but we watched season 2, and it's fun.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I would not say it's as good as like Parks and Rec or 30 Rock, but it's good.
Leonard Kelly
has to be just good. Yeah, I get that, but I've only seen season 1, so I don't know how it extends into like season 2 or 3. And then finally, we're sitting down to watch season 2 of Twin Peaks, and we are. I don't think they're home. I can say this. We are. I want to say 1 or 2, probably 2 episodes away from the big reveal. And then the rest of the season just goes off the fucking cliff and is terrible until the end. So I keep trying to warn my wife and daughter. Well, Jen has seen it way back when, but Hazel, this is her first experience. I'm trying to warn her, there's a lot of bad episodes in season 2. We're just going to have to sit through. I'm sorry in advance. So anyway, but man, still holds up. It's such a great show. I love Twin Peaks so much.
Nice. All right, Josh, if you have to drop, you can. I know.
I plan to.
So, but I think we have time enough if y'all want to stick around to watch that trailer. If not, we can close out the show.
You guys go ahead. I'm going to bounce
out. All right. See you.
I'll see you guys later.
Can I have 60 seconds to rant about the Alamo?
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
Or if you want to do it at the end, wherever.
No, go for it now while I set it up.
All right, this week, Dallas lost a very important business in Alamo Drafthouse. We had like five stores we lost because Alamo Drafthouse, I guess, licensed the theaters to someone here who ended up declaring bankruptcy because he said they never met the previous goals of before COVID. And so they just shut him down with no notice to any of the employees, and that sucks. And I know the original Alamo is trying to bring it back, but the Alamo has been one of my favorite theaters of all times. I mean, growing up here in Mesquite, we've had multiplexes, Cinethe, just all kinds of different theaters have existed. But Alamo is the one where I could go see an original Planet of the Apes on the screen. I went to go see a lot of just movies I've loved that I've only rented or owned, and I've never seen on the big screen. I got to see at Alamo Drafthouse, and so I love it. I went and saw a movie in Austin, or I went and saw a movie that I loved so much before Alamo was in Dallas, and came back up to Dallas. Was telling my friend Terry about it. And I said, you got to see this movie. It's just fucking awesome. Let's drive down to Austin to see a movie at Alamo Drafthouse and drive back in a day. And we did. It was for this movie over here, Fanboys.
Yes.
Fanboys is just a fucking great movie about fandom, those that love it and the friendships you get through it. And so it was really neat to have that cool experience to drive down there. I drove down there with Terry and two of my other friends and saw the movie, and we came back, and it was just a great time. But one of the most important moments of my life was getting married at Alamo Drafthouse on Halloween. And Shelby and I are here with my best man, Michael Myers. But we got married at the Alamo Drafthouse, and I have a video. Not many people have seen it. Because it's with some friends I'm no longer friends with that officiated and videoed our ceremony. And so we got to get married in an Alamo Drafthouse on Halloween. It's more than a movie house to me. It's just something that I feel like everyone should have in their town so that you can not just experience new movies, but old movies and the culture that brings with it. So anyone else?
I have to jump on board for one thing. It wasn't just the Alamo Drafthouse. They also shut down the Plano Angelica same exact day. And that scares me because luckily the Mockingbird Angelica is still open. But if they can close out, and they did the exact same thing, they basically said they were going to keep people employed to like the 13th or the 20th, and they basically said, "Don't come back. You're fired." The Asian Film Festival, which I'm on the board of, Mockingbird Angelica is our stationary place. So if Angelica's even having issues, I'm scared because that's going to be Alamo and Angelica both closing down is a big hurt when it comes to the film community here, especially for festivals and everything going on. So
yeah, because it would suck to have it at an AMC 30. I mean. Which is right by my house. I drive past that place so much to go to other theaters, but now I'm kind of having to go there. I mean, I'm not really been able to go to the theaters the last couple of years, but now that's a choice because I've lost Alamo. So an AMC 30 that shows just, whatever the biggest movie is, and it covers half the theaters. You got kids running around. Kids are just left up there unsupervised. And plus the cost of everything, Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, one of my favorite things about the Alamo Drafthouse is they stopped doing it after like a year and a half. It was when they used to do Saturday morning cartoons and all you can eat cereal.
Yeah, those were cool.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Alamo just had a better atmosphere than any theater ever.
It does bum me out because there is still the Mockingbird Angelica. We still have like the Texas Theater and the Inwood.
Yeah.
But there's not, like, for as big a city as Dallas is, like, there's kind of a cultural void when it comes to film houses and stuff. So like there's just not a lot out there. It is kind of a bummer, especially when you think about like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to attract the film industry here, and just for whatever reason, Texas just gave up on the idea, and like now it's just
shitty
government. We're a city of restaurants. That's all we really are.
Yeah. You want an Applebee's? We got 10 of them. Pick one.
Yeah. I mean, we have fancier things than Applebee's, but yeah. But yes.
Going down to the Applebee's with the family.
Applebee's would be like my last choice ever.
They got those dollar margaritas at night or whatever they have.
Long John Silver's margarita. Applebee's.
I really what I appreciate about the the Alamo is really that people that go there, there's an expectation that you will like. There's some etiquette expectations, whereas chain theaters. I mean, I completely understand the employees not caring because I wouldn't care either if I was paid minimum wage to babysit a bunch of adults that don't know how to behave at the theater.
Yeah.
Whereas at the Alamo, like that, you're kind of entering into this like social contract of like, oh yeah, we came here to watch a film. We're all gonna behave. There's specific things if you want to bring your kids. There's specific events and times for them. And then if you just want to enjoy a film with a bunch of adults, like there's another film. Not like an adult film, but you know what I'm saying.
I do wish they had a concessions light stand. So like if you want to order a food or whatever, but if I just want Coke and a popcorn, like I wish I could bring that into the theater with me, because nothing makes me more anxious than like writing the thing, putting it on, and then they disappear.
You write it all ahead of
minutes
time.
Or whatever.
You write it all ahead of time.
Until I get it, I am anxious until I get it. Like I'm just like, when's it coming? When's it happening?
So
all right, give it to me at the beginning.
We're gonna close this segment out with the Applebee's slander.
Nobody goes there for fun or good food.
That's right. They kicked Ricky Bobby out.
They're going there because Chili's is full.
Adult film. This is a safe space. You're right. All right. Yeah, we're all gonna go watch Barbarella at the Alamo when they reopen.
Fuck yeah.
So.
New Barbarella or old one?
Both. Double feature.
Both.
Getting that Sydney Sweeney Barbarella. I'm excited for that.
Oh boy. This show will get real spicy like in some segments. All right. To close out the show. Oh, did y'all want to do a recommendation before I put this on? Because this is gonna close out the show. Yeah, I'm gonna pass. I already talked about a bunch of stuff. Yeah,
the wedding issue.
Yeah. You know what I did see was the first episode of Who Killed WCW on Vice. They released it on their YouTube channel. To go back to Wrestling Minute, everybody is pointing the finger at other people, but it's still super interesting to watch that stuff. The wrestling war documentaries.
Mm-hmm. So Eric Bischoff hasn't gone like this.
No, Eric Bischoff 100% pointed to Ted Turner.
So, I mean, yeah, probably I would say Ted, Bishop, and maybe Hogan are the biggest.
Hogan.
Oh God, yeah.
And what's it? Vince Russo.
Oh, Russo, yeah. All right. So to close out the show, we are gonna check out this trailer for Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is all kind of based on the Mutant Mayhem universe that they just set up. But it is gonna be a TV show coming to Paramount Plus, so who knows when I'll see it because I don't have that service. But I like TMNT, so let's check it out. And if the stream drops because of copyright, sorry. Bye.
All right, boys. Let's do this. Mutants are the coolest. There's Leo, the leader. We need a plan. Raph, the muscle. They've got a lot of anger to work out. Donnie, the smart one.
I'm not the IT guy.
You do have that vibe. And you, what are you doing?
Are they using the same voices?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
In a new series exclusively on Paramount Plus.
I need new butts to kick.
The greatest, bravest teenage brothers are forced to fight solo.
I've never done anything like this without my brothers.
You have fallen into my traps, for I am Bishop. What, like one name? That's kind of sick. Nakazoids attack!
Okay, Machine. You want to do this? I think we should talk about it before we do, you know? Let's go!
From the studio that brought you
Did
TMNT Mutant
Paramount entered into agreement with somebody this week
Did you just
to
say
get
you
bought
wanna
out or
exterminate
couple
us?
with or whatever?
Yeah.
I have to save them!
comes a new tale where the turtles must reunite to save mutant kind.
Even if we run into trouble, there's nothing we can't handle together. What is that thing supposed to be? Someone should go check it out. Not it. What?
Don't miss Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the epic 12-episode event, streaming August 9th.
12
on
episodes.
Paramount Plus.
I bet they're short.
Forgot about the party. I don't
That's
have my
weird.
costume.
Well, technically your whole, like, thing is a costume.
All right. That looks fun. I like
Paramount.
Mutant
watch it.
Mayhem a lot. So
Yeah.
I think it's interesting they're not putting it on Nickelodeon at all, like the proper.
I bet they'll eventually rerun it there. These streaming services are double. They're double dipping now because Comedy Central does that a lot, where they'll put a new South Park thing on Paramount Plus for a few months, and then they'll premiere it on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
So like, I bet they'll do the same. But it sounds like the cast is the same. Like the kids that are playing their voices. Yeah. Hopefully, none of them are going through puberty soon. So cool. All right. Well, anything else, guys? That's our show.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you had a good time. I know we had a good time. So we'll take there's the outro. Okay, see you guys.
The most important thing in life will always be
Hell Bebo.
Twitter loves you.
Simon Sin.